What you are about to hear will sound impossible. It will challenge everything you think you know about money, about global power, and about your place in the financial system. But I need you to push that disbelief aside for the next few minutes, because what I am revealing is not a prediction. It is a report from the front lines of a silent financial war that has just seen its most decisive battle. Staring at the screen right now, I have in my possession evidence so explosive, so paradigm-shattering that it can only mean one thing: the world you woke up in this morning is not the world you will go to sleep in tonight. Multiple highly placed and corroborated sources from within the banking system have confirmed that the internal exchange terminals at Chase Bank and Wells Fargo, the very heart of the American financial machine, are actively displaying a rate for the Iraqi Dinar that is not a fraction of a penny, but a stunning $5.03. Let me repeat that because your mind will try to reject it. The Iraqi Dinar, the currency many of you hold in your safes and portfolios, is now showing a value of $5.03 on systems that are directly wired into the global financial network. Alongside it, the Vietnamese Dong is being quoted at $3.95. This is not a hopeful rumor from a fringe blog. This is a live data feed inside the most secure financial institutions on the planet. The immediate gut-wrenching question is why? Why would these banks, bastions of conservatism and compliance, suddenly be displaying numbers that represent a revaluation of over 50,000%? The answer is as simple as it is terrifying, because they have been instructed to. This is not a glitch. Glitches are messy. They show random digits, corrupted data, or zeros. This is pristine, precise, and intentional. This is a system update. This is the financial equivalent of a soldier loading his rifle and chambering a round. The preparation is complete. The command has been given. The machinery of the global monetary reset has been activated, and what you are witnessing are the first tremors before the earthquake. Think about the sheer logistical nightmare of implementing such a change. For these numbers to appear, a formal, authenticated, and cryptographically secure data packet had to be sent from a central authority, likely the Federal Reserve, the Treasury, or the BIS, and integrated directly into the core banking software of Chase and Wells Fargo. This means their IT departments, their Treasury teams, their compliance officers, and their senior executives are all aware. Protocols that have been drafted in secret for years are now, at this very moment, being executed. This is the silent beginning of what insiders call Tier 4B, the phase where designated institutions and pre-vetted entities are able to transact at the new rates to stabilize the system before the public floodgates are open. It is a controlled burn to prevent a wildfire. The banks are using this window to test their systems, to ensure their software can handle the monumental shift in decimal places, to confirm that their liquidity pools are sufficient, and to brief their frontline staff without causing a global panic. Every second that these numbers remain on those screens, the probability of a full, public, and irreversible launch moves from possible to inevitable. This is the digital proof we have been waiting for, the signal in the noise that separates hope from certainty. For 2 decades, we have been told we were fools, dreamers, and conspiracy theorists. We were told the dinar was a scam, that the revaluation was a fantasy. But the terminals inside Chase and Wells Fargo do not care about ridicule. They do not care about mainstream media narratives. They are cold, unfeeling machines that display the data they are fed. And right now, they are being fed the numbers for a new financial dawn. This is no longer about faith. It is about forensic evidence. The banks have shown their hand. The question is, what are you going to do now that you know the biggest financial secret in the world? So the screens are live, the numbers are real, and the silent machinery of global finance is grinding into motion. But this is the precise moment where history separates the prepared from the panicked, the visionary from the victim. If you are sitting there, heart pounding, wondering what to do next, you must understand that the window between this internal bank signal and the public announcement is the most critical, fleeting, and profitable moment of your entire life, a sliver of time measured not in days, but potentially in hours, where the actions you take right now will echo for generations in your family's legacy. This is not the time to freeze, it is the time to execute a plan you should have had ready. Let's be brutally honest, the appearance of these rates on Chase and Wells Fargo terminals means the genie is not just out of the bottle has already been shattered and swept away. There is no going back. The revaluation is not coming. It is here, currently operating in a stealth mode for the system's stability. The question has now irrevocably shifted from if to when, and the when is now imminently upon us. This is the final dress rehearsal, and the actors, the banks, the governments, the International Monetary Fund, are all in their places, reciting their lines perfectly behind the curtain. The only people not yet in the theater are the general public, and you, my friend, have a backstage pass. So what does execution look like in this final hour? First, you must immediately cease all public discussion of your holdings. Operate under a veil of absolute silence. The information advantage you currently possess is your most valuable asset. Do not squander it by boasting or seeking confirmation in open forums. Second, your physical and financial documents are now your tickets to this new reality. You must locate your currency certificates, your proof of purchase receipts, your passports, and any other relevant identification, and have them organized and ready in a secure, portable location. This is not a task for tomorrow. This is a task you complete the moment this video ends. Third, and most crucially, you must have your post-redeeming strategy crystal clear in your mind. The moment you walk into that bank or redemption center with a briefcase of currency, you will be in a state of psychological shock, and without a plan, you will be vulnerable. You must decide right now who your first phone call will be. It will not be to your friends or family to celebrate. It will be to your pre-vetted team of a tax attorney, a fiduciary financial advisor, and possibly a private wealth manager from a firm like UBS or Goldman Sachs. This team is your shield. They will handle the complexities of wire transfers, the establishment of charitable trusts, and the legal structuring of your new wealth to protect it from predators and unnecessary taxation. The banks are prepared for this. Their staff are being briefed on the protocols as we speak. They will have specific forms, specific procedures, and specific limits. Your job is not to question their process, but to navigate it with quiet confidence and impeccable documentation. The initial redemption is just the first step. It grants you liquidity. What you do with that liquidity in the first 30 days will define your financial trajectory forever. Will you pay off debt? Absolutely. Will you secure your family's comfort? Of course. But beyond that, you must have a vision for this capital. This wealth is a tool for legacy building, for societal impact, for funding the innovations and humanitarian projects that the old system suppressed. The old world of debt slavery is crumbling in real time, evidenced by those bank screens, and you are being given the resources to help build the new one. This is your call to arms. This is the moment you were waiting for. The data is in. The signal is given. The time for patience is over. The time for purposeful, decisive, and immediate action is now. Now, the final and most terrifying truth emerges from the digital ashes of the old financial system. A truth so profound that it will redefine the very concept of wealth and power on this planet forever. The screens at Chase and Wells Fargo were not just a signal for you to redeem your currency. They were the starting pistol for a global psychological event that will see you, the individual investor, catapulted into a position of influence that was once reserved for nations and central banks. The moment the public announcement is made, a shockwave will rip through every media channel, every government, and every household, shattering the collective reality of 8 billion people in an instant. The world will be thrown into a state of controlled chaos, a dissonant symphony of euphoria, confusion, and sheer panic, and in that maelstrom, your mental fortitude will be your most valuable currency. You will witness things you thought were only possible in science fiction. Banks will see lines stretching for miles. Stock markets will likely be halted to prevent a catastrophic collapse. And every talking head on television will be scrambling to explain an event they repeatedly told you was impossible. Your phone will explode with messages from long-lost relatives and so-called friends, all while you are grappling with the overwhelming reality that your net worth has just increased by a factor of thousands. This is the ultimate test of character, and how you navigate this storm will determine whether this wealth becomes a blessing that elevates humanity or a curse that consumes you. The first and most critical rule is to remain anonymous for as long as humanly possible. Do not give interviews, do not flaunt your new status on social media, and instruct your inner circle to maintain absolute discretion. The second is to understand that the money hitting your account is not an end, but a beginning. It is pure, unadulterated potential energy waiting to be converted into kinetic action. This is where you transition from being an investor to being a visionary, a nation builder, a modern-day pharaoh with the means to erect monuments of progress and compassion. The old world's problems, energy scarcity, water pollution, disease, and poverty are now your new investment portfolio. This wealth was designed to be a healing mechanism for the planet, a deliberate tool to dismantle the corrupt structures that have held humanity back for centuries. You are not just lucky, you are now responsible. The third and most vital step is to guard your psyche with the ferocity of a lion, for the sudden influx of such colossal resources will trigger every unresolved emotional issue, every hidden insecurity, and every familial drama you have ever known. You must be prepared for the emotional vacuum that can follow the fulfillment of a decades-long dream, a strange emptiness that can only be filled by purpose. Your purpose is no longer to chase wealth, it is to deploy it with wisdom and compassion. This is the great unveiling, the moment where the hidden hands that have guided this process for decades step back and hand the reins to you, the people. The Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong were never just currencies. They were the keys to a global prison cell, and you, the holders, were the trustees of that key all along. The bank screens proving their value are the sound of the lock clicking open. The door is now ajar. You have the financial proof, you have the strategic plan, and you have the moral imperative. The world that is about to be born will be built not by politicians, but by you. Do not merely step into this new dawn, seize it, shape it, and illuminate it with the profound responsibility that this unimaginable wealth demands. The wait is over. The future is now. Your time begins.